Hey my dudes, welcome to another attempt at a long form video. But of course, as I still figure out how to make this work, I'm going to be making some mistakes. And this week's mistake is that this is a very short long form video. I thought I had more footage than I did, but that's okay. But maybe we'll just consider this a sample. If this is a format that's a little bit more fun for you guys to watch, let me know. I know that the mic quality sounds a lot better because I'm literally recording this in a closet right now, but it is a little bit harder for me to focus on talking about the art that I made, because at this point I've drawn many things since drawing this one. So it's a little bit difficult for me to remember where my head was at, but I do remember that my intention with this one was to test out the red ink from the Dr. P.H. Martin's India ink stuff, and I had just really been wanting to draw a crooked tower for a while. Unfortunately, I think I did choose the wrong time to use this idea, because the paper is very small and I wanted the tower to be a little bit more detailed than I could really manage it. But that's okay, there's nothing saying I can't just do this idea on a bigger piece of paper later. And even if there was, I would just ignore it because that's silly. I didn't really know how I wanted to do the top part of the tower, so I just added some basic windows, but again, I think if I did this on a bigger piece of paper, I would have added maybe like a balcony or some shelving, or not shelving, but like the windowsills to put plants on and such. But again, hindsight being 20/20 and all. I've also developed this habit of making the ground that my subject is standing on very round, and I can't stop. It's just really, really cute. Oh yeah, so here we see me adding all these details that are kind of going to get muddied a little bit with the ink. Don't get me wrong, it's not the ink's fault at all, this is all just too small. And for some reason it just did not cross my mind to be worried about the size and what I could accomplish with a paintbrush. Naturally, I caught me erasing the part of the tower that I thought the dragon was going to cover, but then I tried that and it made the tower look really weird, so I just had the serpent come across the tower on the bottom end instead of the top. This was also when I remembered that, oh right, the red ink in that bottle is not actually red. It definitely looks red if you use it with a dip pen, but the second it's watered down and kind of spread out, it's definitely just bright pink. Which isn't like a terrible thing, I'm just not a huge fan of pink, and I had really had this kind of red, rusty color in mind. But that's showbiz, baby! That being said, if anybody does know of a rusty red style India ink, please let me know, I'd be very interested in trying it out. Outside of the color not really being what I wanted it to be, I really love how it works. The ink still performs exactly how I wanted it to perform, and admittedly, mixed with some black, it's a very pretty color. What is that, like mauve? I don't know, I'm not a color expert, I prefer black and white. And now's about the time that I'm running out of things to talk about with this art, because I've been making short form content for years at this point. So I've just trained myself to say as much as I can in a very short amount of time, and holy crap, that close-up shot is terrible. Note to self, my old phone cannot handle close-up shots like I thought it could. Anyway, yes, I have trained myself to say everything I need to say within the span of a minute, and now we're about 2.5 minutes in, and I'm out of things to say. Except I'm going to reiterate what is with these awful close-up shots. Their quality is terrible. Or maybe it's just another side effect of the paper being so small I thought I had to zoom you guys in close to see it. Another thing I was wrong about for this week, so that's good to know. Watching this back though really does make me want to try this idea on a bigger piece of paper. I really like the medium that I chose with it though. I might be able to make it look cool with alcohol markers, but I don't know, I kind of like the textured look you get with ink. I do still have those 16x20 canvases I could use, but I am saving one of those for a Shenron style dragon. I'm not 100% sure I want to do a tower for the other one. Sidebar, if you guys have an idea of what I should do for a 16x20 canvas, let me know. I generally have zero problems coming up with ideas on what to draw, but for whatever reason, a canvas being 16x20 has me completely stumped. I only just figured out that I'm going to use a Shenron style dragon for one of the canvases, and that was me thinking on it for months. It just feels like there's so much more pressure trying to come up with an idea for a big piece, whereas like the 5x7 sizes here, it's cute, it's little, it's not serious, who really cares, you know? Oh, an interesting thing that I've noticed with this Dr. P.H. Martin's black ink, with this paper in particular, there is zero shine. Okay, not zero, I can see a little bit of shine on the paper right now, but if I use that India ink on paper that's cheaper or doesn't have a tooth, it creates like this shine outline where you can see the brush strokes or where I put the ink down. But on this paper, it doesn't happen, it just stays a flat color and it's so awesome. The black ink in this paper really do work so well together, and yeah, I guess the red does too, it's just, you know, it's not very red. I was a little bit more on the fence about the white ink because it wasn't very pigmented and it dries shiny, which in this case wasn't a big deal. I actually think it kind of helped because it looks like a big shiny moon. But the fact that it dries shiny did cause a problem later on in some other arts. Not a big enough problem to ruin it, but still it was weird. I just don't know why it wants to dry shiny. So to go along with looking for a rusty red ink, I am also apparently looking for a white ink that dries matte. Let me know. Also, that leaf that came with this paper to cut it off the block is so cool. I used to use an X-Acto knife on my other watercolor block, but I would accidentally cut into the paper sometimes, whereas this is sharp enough that you can take it off without cutting the paper, and it's perfect. So here we are, the finished piece. I'm really happy with how it turned out, especially considering I wasn't expecting the color. If you made it to the end of the video, I thank you very much. I think I prefer recording the process in real time, but if you prefer the voiceover format, please let me know. That's all I've got for today, and I hope to see you next time. Later, Tater!